What's up, guys? Ben here, bringing you another video today. Major 4 qualifiers have completed as of Sunday, aka yesterday. I'm recording this Monday morning. We have Major 4 starting on Thursday, so let's dive in on our tier list. I think we need to make a lot of tweaks, so let's take a look and see what we need to change. So we're going to start at the bottom. I think it's going to be easiest if we do it that way, because I think the top is a mess. So I think the bottom 3 teams are still the bottom 3 teams. LAG have not won a single series this stage. They went 0 for... and by 0 for, I mean 0 for 5, losing to Rocker, Thieves, Vegas, OPTIC, and Seattle. And they won a total of 4 maps across those 5 series. So not great for LAG. Seems like they're getting dead last. Seems like a dead team. They're actually on an incredible losing streak as well. 7 series in a row. Their last win was during the Major 3 qualifiers against Vegas. And since the Major, they have not won a series. So not great. They're just kind of in this pool of teams. Next up, we have the London Royal Ravens, and maybe a little bit more upside. Like, they actually won a series as major qualifier. It was against Vegas, interesting enough. We'll get to Vegas shortly. But they lost to New York, lost to Boston, lost to OPTIC, lost to LA Thieves. Just like with LAG, there's not a standout game mode for them. Their map pool is very shallow. Teamwork doesn't seem to be on point. The pacing is off. Just not a great situation. And then going into the major, we will see kind of who they will potentially face off in losers bracket, but it's looking like a dead last for London, who I think actually have not won a series on LAN all year. So that we'll see if that holds. That'd be incredible if they go a year without winning a LAN series, but they're on an 0 for right now. Next up, we have the Florida Mutineers, and like LAG, they did not win a single series during the split. And in fact, they're on a crazy losing streak. This one's actually kind of also a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in a row. So they beat New York at the major, then lost to OPTIC. And then since then, in this qualifier, they got 3-0'd by Rocker, lost the game 5 to FaZe, lost in a 3-1 fashion to Seattle, got 3-0'd by Toronto, who we'll get to their struggles later, and then 3-1 Vegas beat them. So if I need to shuffle all of these teams, I'm putting LAG in dead last. I'm putting London maybe above Florida, but I don't even know. I might even put Florida over London, man. Weirdly as that sounds, like maybe I trust Florida a little bit more when it gets to LAN in terms of London. But all 3 of these teams are, I don't expect them to do much of this event. I'm going to be honest with y'all. I think it's kind of chalked. All right, let's move up a tier, and let's start with the Minnesota Rocker. You know, they got off to a good start with the 2 wins when they went to their home series. Since then, it has been ugly, man. 3-1 loss to New York, Game 5, Round 11 to FaZe, and then they got 3-0'd by Thieves this weekend. They've come crashing back down to earth, and the only 2 teams that they beat during the split, Minnesota, the Mutineers and LAG, both, we just talked about, are not in great spots. So, yeah, I mean, I don't really know what to do with this team. It may be a roster change situation. I want to leave them in this tier for now, but I almost feel like I should move them down a tier. Like, I don't know where to place this team. They're a complete mess. They've gone nowhere in the last couple of weeks, and barring a crazy run at this event, are in real trouble of not making champs. The Vegas now tied with them in the standings, and having way more upside and getting more points at this event as compared to Rocker, who I think they walk away with 0 total from this LAN event. All right, but let's talk about Vegas. And I think we're going to go ahead and slide them up to this next tier. We'll figure out the order in a sec, but Vegas, man, the Standy pickup was a blessing in disguise for these guys. And since then, they went 4-1 to split, man. They beat Boston, lost to London. Surprising, that's the only team they lost to in the split, because they beat LAG, Toronto, and Florida. Now, you could argue that 4 of the 5 series against teams that are the weakest in form, and they had a nice win against Boston, who are another team that are waffling. So you could argue, if you wanted to, that's an easy schedule. It doesn't matter to me. I think this Vegas team is dangerous anyway. My only issue is they are going to play New York first round in the bracket. That's a matchup that theoretically they have the advantage in search. New York has the advantage in control. And then the hard points will depend on the maps. But Vegas can kind of hold their own in that game mode. So I can see Vegas getting top 6 of this event, getting more points than Rocker. I think they're firmly going to hold down this 8 spot after this event, and we'll see where it goes into the next split. But a lot of progress from Vegas. Everybody's second favorite team moving on up. All right, the New York Subliners next, a 4-1 split for them. A big rebound from the last couple of majors, which have not been particularly kind to them. They beat FaZe in Game 5. They beat Rocker 3-1, lost to Optic, beat London pretty comfortably 3-1, and 3-0'd Boston the other day. So New York is running on all cylinders. I think they've kind of solved some of the day-to-day issues. Their hard point is looking really good. S&D is interesting. They played mostly Hotel in these series, so let's see if teams try and kind of maybe take Team B against them, depending on how vetoes go, and try and move Hotel at the end of the series, see how they do on another map. But I like New York's potential this event. I think they are potentially a dark horse team that make a deep run in this, and I trust them more than I trust, say, Boston. I'm going to leave Vegas in this last 8 spot, but I think this is sort of maybe the order I'm really feeling here. And let me explain sort of my thoughts on Boston and Seattle. Of course, they're dragging potentially a team or two down to this tier. All right, so Boston's had an interesting journey this split. I feel like they're kind of stuck in neutral. I don't think they're playing the worst Call of Duty. I just don't think they're playing the best Call of Duty. Lost to Vegas, beat Toronto in a game 5, beat London in a game 5, lost to Optic 3-1, and got 3-0 by New York. So I don't really know what to think about all that. This is almost how kind of form that New York had to an extent the last couple of majors, because you look at the overall map records, playing solid in S&D and control, but the hard point has been ugly for Boston. They are 2-7 this split, 1 win on Mercado, 1 win on Embassy, 0-2 Fortress, 0-2 Hotel, 0-1 on Hydro. These guys are struggling to win hard point. They're going down 0-1 in this series, and with sort of the makeup of their team, I just feel like that's a problem. They're a team I think when they can lose that map 1 are just going to struggle to get back in a series. So I don't have a lot of confidence in them going to this event. And unfortunately, they got to play Optic round 1. If they lose that, I believe they play Toronto. And you can correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but this could be really ugly for Boston. With an upset or two, you know, they're getting top 8 or they're getting top 12 at this event. So I don't know. I mean, I've given them more time with this Cremp and Bean stuff, but the changes haven't yet improved, and they might be down for... This might be a down stage for them, and they might need a rebound going into Major 5, which is okay. Look, it's okay. They're going to make champs. If you're going to pick one stage, have a bad stage, this is probably the one to do it. You don't want it in Major 5 or champs because then your season's over. But I'm not super confident in Boston going into this event. A team I am confident in and is coming on a 4-win streak going into this event is Seattle Surge. They lost to Thieves in the beginning of the qualifiers, and since then, Game 5 against Toronto, W. 3-1 victory over Florida, W. 3-0'd FaZe on Saturday, surprising result, W, and then 3-0 over LAG yesterday. And their prize for going 4-1 is to play FaZe first round. So that'll be interesting. I have no idea who's going to win that one, and we'll get to it later on this week when we do the bracket prediction video. But I really like the form that Seattle is in. We always joke about the Seattle roller coaster. It's on the upside right now. They're looking great in control. Been pretty solid in search, which is nice. They're turning a corner there. They've actually been playing Fortress a lot. This split, and they're 3-0, so we'll see if teams adjust there. And the hard point is look good as always. I feel probably more confident in Seattle than I do New York right now. That's why I have them above them. But I almost feel like this tier is kind of split into 2. I trust Seattle and New York, kind of fading Boston. I think Vegas can still kind of get a top 6 ceiling, but they're not like New York and Seattle have grand final ceilings. I don't feel that same way about Vegas, to be honest. Like a lot of stuff have to break the right way. But a good work from Seattle, and we'll see how they navigate a really tricky bottom side of the bracket that they're in. All right, let's get to the Sunday regular tier. Now, this is the tricky part. I think right off the bat, Optic and Thieves, probably the only 2 teams I trust in here. I don't know what yet to do with Toronto and FaZe. And let's talk about the 2 teams and talk through sort of maybe how we kind of place them in this sort of cluster F of tier list, I feel like right now. Toronto went 1-4 this stage. Extremely surprising after winning an event and going on a very, very hot streak. They lost 3 game 5s to Boston, Seattle, and recently to Vegas as of this weekend. FaZe beat them 3-1, and they did 3-0 Florida for their only victory. So the thing about Toronto too, if you look even deeper into the stats, is they're actually playing really good in respawn. They ended up being, looks like 9-5 across hardpoint S&D, or hardpoint and control rather, but the S&D was a problem. 1-7 and a couple of game 5 losses. The search is killing them in this series, and they're not getting blown out in S&D. They're losing 6-3, 6-4, 6-5. They're playing close series. So I don't really know what to read on Toronto. They fixed the S&D. Maybe they turn it around. The problem is they're starting in losers. And the way the bracket is kind of drawn up is they're going to have a really difficult potential matchup at the top side of the major with one of those teams from the top side of the bracket coming down. They're going to have to go on a little bit of a run. So for now, I'm going to move Toronto down to potential contenders because I think they may get top 6 this event. And I'm going to put them right here in between Boston, who I feel maybe more confident Toronto over Boston, but Boston did beat them. So maybe we should put them over behind Boston in front of Vegas. Maybe that's like the right placement for them. Whenever we do these tier lists, the potential contenders tier just shuffles all the time. So don't overthink this, chat, in the comments, because I'm just trying my best here. You know, FaZe is the trickiest team, I think, to place in this. And I think some of you will have some strong feelings. So here is their split in Major 4. Lost at Game 5 to New York. Won a Game 5 versus Florida. 3-1 Toronto Ultra. Beat Rocker in a Game 5 round 11 and got 3-0'd by Seattle, in which I don't know what they were thinking with the vetoes in that series. It's very, very confusing even if you dive in further, because they're controlled. They're 3-2. 5-3 in search. They've dropped a couple of S&Ds. And 3-6 in hardpoint. So they went 3-2. The map records aren't convincing. Then you pile on the fact that this team goes 3-2 every split. Then you pile on the fact that regardless of form, this team always gets decent placing in events. I don't know where to put these guys. My guess is they're going to get like top 4 at this event. I don't really feel great about them making grand finals. We can always count this team to make a loser's run if they get bounced there, outside of, say, like Major 5 from Cold War or something like that. So I'm going to leave them in the Sunday regulars for now. This might be controversial. Actually, you know what? Here's what we're going to do, because I actually legit don't know. I'm putting them right there in front of behind Seattle. Now, Seattle just beat them, and that's why I'm doing that. But I can easily see if listen, like, here's the deal: is if FaZe beats Seattle, they're getting top 3 at this event, because I don't see them losing to Thieves. That's a good matchup for them. But I just can see them losing, and then they got to make a loser's run. I'm going to put them right there. It's just a mess right now. And I can see this being a down major for FaZe. It's got some work to do before Major 5. They're not in jeopardy of not making champs. They're going to get a top seed for champs. I think they're just redoing their hardpoint game and obviously starting to lose some searches. They weren't going to go on that long search streak in that form for forever. If they can figure out hardpoint, though, here's the one caveat with FaZe, and I haven't really seen a lot of takes on this. If they can figure out the hardpoint form, and some of that is Slasher playing better, because he has not had a good stage, they're going to shoot up this pretty fast. And again, as I highlighted, they have a great matchup against Thieves. They are 3-2 against Seattle. They struggle against OPTIC, however. They can easily make a grand final if their hardpoint is good. But if their hardpoint's not good, they're going to have to grind out series, and you never know. So OPTIC and Thieves are really the only 2 teams that I feel like super confident in going into this event. And almost actually, just as a one knock on, just kind of thinking out loud here, I kind of actually am sort of talking myself into putting Seattle up here. I think I'm actually going to pull the trigger on that just real quick, because I just think with their form right now in Seattle, even if they lose to FaZe, they're another team that can make a long losers run. I think beat through everybody and get to at least top 4. So I feel more confident in Seattle in top 4 than I do in FaZe, believe it or not. So I think we'll do that shuffle right there. Well, let's get to Thieves. A pretty good showing for them. The only team they lost to in the split was OPTIC. They beat London, they beat Seattle, they beat LAG, they beat Rocker. Thieves are looking good, man. They've rebounded after a really tough couple of majors. The land performance wasn't their last split. They have 4-1 control right now. The search is still a question mark a little. They have 3 wins on Embassy, 2 losses on Fortress. They've only played those 2 maps so far in S&D. But the 6-2 in hardpoint is what we expect from the Thieves team. They're very organized and disciplined in hardpoint. I'm excited to see them in a potential matchup against OPTIC at this event, rebounding off of the online match. So we'll see what happens. But I like Thieves' chance of, I think Thieves should make Sunday. It should make the grand final, but let's see what happens. I like their form right now. And I think we get to OPTIC here at the end. I mean, they're just, man, on a roll. They've won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 of the last 13 series. That goes back all the way. I'm taking that all the way back to the last match of the qualifiers for that. I mean, we can go farther back to the middle of the qualifiers, but they've just been on a really good form and haven't really lost many series. In this split, they're perfect. They beat London, New York, Thieves, LAG, and Boston. They only dropped 3 maps across those 5 series. Look like the best hardpoint team in the game right now. 8-0, 4-1 S&D, 3-2 in control. Now, the only weakness for them is that control game mode. If they start losing hardpoints and they're not confident in control, you start to open up paths to getting some sketchy game 5 series or getting a 3-1 situation where you're down 2-1 in the series. So that's the one thing, one potential weakness right now for OPTIC, but everything else looks tidy. The map pool looks tidy. If any team is going to make the grand final, if I could put any money down on any team making the grand final, it's this one. I think anything less than top 2 with this event is a disappointment. I mean, it's not easy to win the finals. I'll tell you that. There might be some people in the comments say, well, it's championship or bust. I feel you on that. Things can happen though. I think anything less than T2 is a massive, massive disappointment. Anything that's not first is a disappointment, but this team should make the final. If not, I don't know what to say. Maybe someone just got hot, but right now they're the best team heading this qualifier and I in this major, and I think it's pretty much consensus on that. So yeah, that's the list. The Seattle facing kind of funky, Vegas moving up a tier, Toronto moving down. Like, I feel like pretty good about where this is at. Again, though, the only thing I'll say is, as much as we've talked about teams' forms in the qualifiers, if we've learned anything this year from the New York win, from the FaZe win, from the Toronto win, from OPTIC's form at the last event, teams can find themselves at LAN events. And I think the talent, if you look at even the Vegas in the top 8 teams in the league right now, I think all of them, if they can find bread and butter maps, if they can find form, can all legitimately win the event. I think this could be a really exciting major if some teams really pick up in form. Otherwise, I think it might be sort of an OPTIC Thieves final, but as always, we'll see what happens when we get to Sunday, a couple of days from now. So that's it. Fun tier list. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. We've got more content coming this week. Once the bracket prediction thing is up on the website, I'm gonna record that video. We're gonna do a champs location reaction situation when that video goes live today. And I'll probably put some kind of Q&A video this week. So be on the lookout for all of that. Like if you enjoyed, subscribe for more, and we'll see you guys in the next video.